all these companies that did go and invest in electric infrastructure, they're just going to get hung out to dry because they're going to be left with technology that doesn't work, that no longer has the incentives that they originally had when they bought them. So your electric van that you paid 50 grand for, that's now got a 50-mile range and cost you a fortune and has depreciated like a rock, is now absolutely no advantage over an old banana engine transit diesel like you had in the first place. Good morning. Well, here's a surprise. This isn't a surprise. Spoiler alert, no surprise. End to discounts for zero emission vehicles. This is from the BBC. Motorists who currently benefit from a hefty discount for driving zero emission vehicles in London's congestion zones will have to pay the standard charge for the end of next year, from the end of next year. Transport for London announced that from the 25th of December 2025, so that's Christmas Day next year, not Christmas Day this year, so it is a while off, drivers who previously paid £10 for a year's exemption from the congestion charges will have to pay the standard £15 daily fee. Wow, let's look at that for a moment. That's huge. Do you want to pay £10 a year or £15 a day? There's the differences. I've worked it out for you in this handy infographic. Who's behind this? The move has been criticised by environmental groups and the Federation of Small Businesses, but it is supported by the Green Party. What are the Green Party actually for, other than taking away all of your stuff and making things worse? I know it's important we should look after the whales, but isn't it bizarre how in 2024 you're never very far from saying, I'd really like to look after the whales and we should definitely make life better for the whales, to we should all live in cages and go nowhere and not own anything and eat bugs. Isn't it funny how there's not many steps between those two anymore?
If this part of the video sounded crazy, then it's all explained right at the end.
I've ranted about that on videos before. Let's carry on. Transport for... I need to think of a funny name for Transport for London, because they are just a joke, aren't they? Transport for London said the discount had been part of a phased scheme to tackle London's toxic air. So much to be said about that, but not today. TfL said that ending the discount will maintain the effectiveness of the congestion charge, which is in place to manage traffic and congestion in the heart of London. So, they introduced the £10 exemption to go and get you all to buy less polluting cars. And then a couple of years later, they admitted that actually they just want you out of your cars, which is weird because I've been called a conspiracy theorist for saying that that is the natural flow of things. We start by getting you out of your older car into a less polluting, more expensive car, and then slowly we get you out of that car until you're not only out of your car, but you're also not going anywhere, because you'll be tracked by all the cameras that they've put up that can do facial recognition. So they'll ensure that not only are you not going anywhere in your car, you're not going anywhere at all. But I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat today. This is my Malaga hat, and it's my favourite hat. Currently, 112,318 cars and vans are registered for the discount. So that's to pay £10 a year instead of £15 a day. Again, numbers are up there, according to figures obtained from TfL. And of those, 15,782 are private hire vehicles. That means they're taxis, right? So that means 15,782 vehicles are going to be replaced, because if you're a private hire company, you're not going to suddenly start paying £15 a day. It's not an option because of the numbers here. So what we've done there is we've ensured that 15,782 perfectly functioning vehicles are going to be replaced with another perfectly functioning vehicle that's going to cost the environment more. Because it's better for the environment to keep your old car on the road for longer. The whole thing is a scam. Oliver Lord from the campaign group Clean Cities called the change puzzling. By offering incentives to businesses for electric vehicles, we not only promote greener transport, but we also draw a line against the most polluting freight vehicles. So he's saying that the incentives for electric vehicles are good. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, and you have to question some of the BBC's decisions. Alex Pearce from the electric car support company Going Green said, Environmentally and economically, this makes no sense. He said customers who buy electric cars because they're cheaper and hassle-free when you want to go into central London will go back to buying diesel or hybrid, which is worse for the environment. But I've put a note in here, right? Who are going green? They're obviously featured in this BBC article. The BBC is the premier news reporting propaganda organisation from the government, and they got a big mention in this. Now, why is that? Who are they? They're an electric vehicle service centre, but as far as I can tell, it's 4 blokes from Hayes in West London. On Facebook, Going Green have only got 12 likes on their page and 18 followers. On Twitter, they got 657 followers, and they've only posted 4 tweets this year, but nothing since April. They've got 459 followers on Instagram. Why is the BBC asking a tiny little business that services electric cars for an opinion on a policy change that will affect everyone who lives in London? Do you find that a bit odd? I don't really know where that company came from. I understand that Facebook friends are not real friends, and Facebook likes don't actually mean that you have a life outside of Facebook. But even so, I just saw that and I thought, who are these guys and why are they being featured? The FSB said the scheme should be extended to help business owners who already face heavy costs and have invested in electric infrastructure. All these companies that did go and invest in electric infrastructure, they're just going to get hung out to dry because they're going to be left with technology that doesn't work, that no longer has the incentives that they originally had when they bought them. So your electric van that you paid 50 grand for, that's now got a 50-mile range and cost you a fortune and has depreciated like a rock, is now absolutely no advantage over an old banana engine transit diesel like you had in the first place. Brilliant progress. A TfL spokesperson added, more than 52,000 grants have been approved for Londoners, businesses and charities to switch to cleaner vehicles, with 70,000 fewer non-compliant vehicles now seen driving on London's roads. That means taxpayers have helped 52,000 people buy a new car that they couldn't afford. How insane is that when you put it that way? The Conservatives at City Hall declined to comment on the issue because they don't comment on anything. The Green Party said the incentives were always going to be time limited because the Green Party want you to have nothing and give it all away and not go anywhere. Caroline Russell said, if every Londoner drives an electric car, we won't tackle congestion, air pollution or the climate crisis. The only one of those that's actually real, I reckon, is congestion. All right, too many cars is a thing. Air pollution in London is a thing, but maybe let's have a look at where the tube outlets are and where the incinerators are. And the climate crisis, well, I think my subscribers are clever enough to work out what's going on with that one. Final quote, the best solution to any concerns about unfairness in changes like this is to move to smart, fair road user charging. Boom! Ding, 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 ding. There it is, right at the end. All your conspiracy theorists come true. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. And absolutely do not rub it in the face of all the people that said we were tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists. It's all there in the last 4 words of the article. Fair road user charging. They want to use all of the cameras that have been put up to charge you by the mile. And trust me, it'll start at £1 a mile. And before you know it, you will not be able to afford to go anywhere. You won't be able to afford to own your car. We already know that you won't be able to afford to own your house. But you'll be happy. And you'll eat the bugs. But I'm just a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist. Still not wearing a tinfoil hat. Still being proven right.
Okay, well, if you made it to the end of the video, we can all relax. This is the end of the video. Let me explain that bit that I said about saving the whales, because I think you'll find that a lot of environmental things that are going on at the moment are connected to us being locked in cages. And this is how it works. Do you want to stop the whales eating plastic? The general public cries, yes. Do you want to protect the wild animals? The general public cries, yes. Do you want to protect the air? The general public cries, yes. Should we have safer air and cleaner streets? The general public cries, yes. Do you want to protect the wild spaces? The general public cries, yes. Should we protect, say, the Lake District? The general public cries, yes. Should we then restrict access and give the wild a break? The general public cries, yes. Should we restrict access to places like the Lake District on certain days? You know, to give the wild a break. And the general public cries, yes. Should we do it for more of the wild places? And the general public cries, yes. Should we have a license to go out in the wild? And the general public cries, yes. And should we then restrict movement and confine people to only certain spaces to protect the wild? And the general public cries, we're not so sure about that one, but if it saves the planet, then okay, yes. Should we have a continual permanent lockdown enforced by an app on your phone and validated by digital IDs and monitored with the cameras to protect the wild spaces and to protect the environment? And the general public cries, no! But it was all too late, because you thought that all the people that were trying to warn you were conspiracy theorists. Thanks for watching. This is the true end of the video. No whales were harmed in the making of this video, and no harms were whaled either.